In the palm of your hand lies history. A Jefferson nickel from 1968, quietly carrying the echoes of a turbulent era, the stories of change etched in its metal. Next, a Lincoln penny from 1995, a bridge between generations, a simple coin, yet a keeper of dreams and the hopes of millions. And then, the iconic Bicentennial Quarter of 1776-1976, a shining tribute to 200 years of revolution, freedom, and the birth of a nation, its design telling tales of courage, unity, and vision. Imagine holding these coins together, 3 pieces of time, each whispering secrets of their age, each one a portal into moments long gone but never forgotten. The nickel tells of industrial growth, of streets and schools and families, of history quietly passing through hands like yours. The penny gleams with the spirit of the 90s, a decade of change, innovation, and quiet milestones in everyday life. The quarter stands tall, a monument in silver, a reminder that liberty was fought for and earned, that even small things can carry immense meaning. Each scratch, each shine, each curve holds stories untold, waiting for eyes to see and hands to hold. They speak of presidents and patriots, of pennies saved and nickels spent, of quarters tossed in fountains wishing for more. And when you line them up side by side, the timeline unfolds, decades blending into centuries, the ordinary transformed into extraordinary. History isn't in books alone. It's in the coins we pass daily, in the metal that carries memory. From Jefferson's calm gaze to Lincoln's solemn eyes to the revolutionary symbols of the bicentennial, you're holding more than currency. You're holding the essence of time. Imagine the secrets these coins would tell if they could speak. Stories of economies, wars, celebrations, and quiet moments in kitchens and classrooms. Each coin a chapter, each glance a reminder that small things matter. Collectors chase them, historians study them, and everyday people pass them by, unaware of the magic in their pockets. This trio isn't just metal, it's legacy, it's connection, it's power. And today, you get a rare chance to see, touch, and feel it, to let history slip through your fingers and into your imagination. Jefferson, Lincoln, and the Bicentennial. 3 coins. Endless stories, waiting for the eyes that can see beyond their surface. So pause, hold them close, and step into the journey they offer because history is alive. And it starts right here, right now, in the coins you hold. The story of the 1968 Jefferson nickel begins during a period of transformation for the United States Mint and for American coinage as a whole, and the year 1968 stands out as a moment of renewal, adaptation, and change. To understand the full history of the 1968 Jefferson nickel, it is important to look back at the origins of the series, which began in 1938, when the nickel adopted the portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and the image of his home Monticello on the reverse. By the time 1968 arrived, the Jefferson nickel had already been circulating for 3 decades, and Americans recognized it as one of the most stable and reliable coins in the economy. However, behind the scenes, many changes were taking place at the Mint, and these changes deeply influenced the 1968 issue. During the mid-1960s, the minting world was shaken by a national coin shortage, driven by rapid population growth, massive increases in vending machine use, and the booming economy. As a result, the Mint had temporarily removed mint marks from coins between 1965 and 1967 to discourage hoarding by collectors. This policy drastically altered the design and production practices of the Mint. By 1968, the United States Mint decided it was time to restore mint marks and return to normal operations, which marked a major shift and made the 1968 Jefferson nickel a significant entry in the series. The year 1968 also marked the reopening of the San Francisco Mint as a facility, dedicated to producing proof coins, reopening after many decades of closure. This meant that proof Jefferson nickels for 1968 would now carry the S mint mark and would be struck under more controlled and refined conditions compared to earlier years. Turning to the production details, the mint struck three main types of Jefferson nickels in 1968. The Philadelphia Mint struck circulation coins without a mint mark, continuing its role as the primary provider of everyday currency. The Denver Mint produced a large number of coins marked with the D Mint mark, serving the western and central regions of the country with dependable nickel supply. Meanwhile, the newly reactivated San Francisco Mint prepared proof coins that were struck with mirrored surfaces, frosted devices, and a level of craftsmanship meant to appeal to collectors. These proof coins carried the S Mint mark, which became an important identifier for collectors then and now. All three versions of the 1968 nickel were made from the standard copper-nickel alloy of the modern era, consisting of 75% copper and 25% nickel, a metal blend chosen for strength, durability, and long-term stability in circulation. Design continuity was another key point of the 1968 Jefferson nickel. The obverse still featured the classic left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, designed by Felix Schlag, whose artwork had been selected in a national competition 30 years earlier. Schlag's original design saw adjustments over the decades, but its fundamental appearance remained familiar to Americans. Jefferson's profile sits confidently with the inscriptions "Liberty, the year 1968," and the motto, "In God We Trust." The reverse features Monticello rendered with architectural precision and framed by the inscriptions "Monticello 5 cents, United States of America," and the motto, "E pluribus unum." Though unchanged in appearance, this reverse would later gain increased scrutiny from collectors as strike sharpness and die conditions varied. Collecting the 1968 Jefferson nickel introduces a fascinating perspective on minting quality during this transitional era. Coins from Philadelphia and Denver were made in large numbers, yet many examples show softer strikes around Monticello, especially on the steps. Fully struck steps, often called full steps by collectors, are highly prized because they indicate a strong, precise strike and well-prepared dies. Finding 1968 nickels with full steps, particularly from Philadelphia, can be very challenging, making such pieces highly desirable in the numismatic market. Denver issues tend to show better strikes, but still not consistently enough for easy full-step certification. Proof 1968. S nickels generally display strong detail, but even in proofs, the clarity of Monticello steps can vary, adding another layer of interest for collectors. Looking deeper into the historical background, 1968 was a time of national change, political tension, and economic shifts. In such a complex era, coins like the Jefferson nickel were quiet witnesses to everyday American life, passing through hands in grocery stores, gas stations, and workplaces. The restored mint marks of 1968 symbolized a return to stability after years of uncertainty in the coin supply. At the same time, the establishment of the San Francisco Mint as a proof facility marked an important modernization step for the mint and set the stage for decades of proof coin production that continues today. The legacy of the 1968 Jefferson nickel rests not only on its production numbers and design, but also on its role in the evolution of the series. It marked the return of traditional minting practices, the refinement of proof production, and the continuation of one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. For collectors, the 1968 nickel offers many layers to explore, from varieties to strike quality to historical context. For historians, it reflects the broader economic and political landscape of the late 60s. And for viewers of your 2-hour documentary, the 1968 Jefferson nickel represents far more than a simple 5-cent piece. It becomes a window into a time of change, a symbol of national stability, and a key chapter in the continuing story of American coinage. As the story of the 1968 Jefferson Nickel continues, it becomes important to understand how this single year fits into the broader economic and political climate of the United States during the late 1960s. The country was facing many dramatic shifts, advancements in technology, challenges in industry, social changes, and global tensions that shaped daily American life. Coins produced during this era, including the Jefferson Nickel, reflected the government's effort to maintain consistency in the economy even as the nation navigated a time of turbulence. The nickel, which had been a stable part of commerce since the 1930s, remained essential for vending machines, public transportation, parking meters, and daily transactions. Its reliability made it a crucial piece of everyday life, and the 1968 issue was produced with the intention of reinforcing that stability. The return of mint marks in 1968 carried symbolic meaning for collectors and for the mint itself. During the coin shortage of the mid-60s, the temporary removal of mint marks had frustrated collectors who relied on mint marks to distinguish varieties and track production patterns. The restoration of mint marks allowed the hobby to regain momentum. Clubs, shows, and publications grew in popularity as collectors searched for the newly marked coins. The appearance of the D mint mark on Denver issues and the S mint mark on ivory San Francisco proof coins reconnected collectors to traditions that had been interrupted. It also helped bring public confidence back to the mint, which had been criticized for its handling of the shortage. This historical moment helped shape the modern coin collecting community, and the 1968 nickel became one of the first coins to benefit from renewed enthusiasm. The history of the 1995 Lincoln cent is a fascinating chapter in the long legacy of America's most iconic coin, the Lincoln penny, which has been in circulation since 1909. The 1995 Lincoln cent continues the design that millions of people recognize instantly, featuring the profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. This coin reflects not just the artistry and symbolism of the United States Mint, but also the ongoing evolution of coinage, production technology, and quality control practices during the 1990s. The obverse of the 1995 cent features the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, originally designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of Lincoln's birth. Above Lincoln's head is the inscription, "In God We Trust." To the left is the word liberty, and to the right is the date 1995, followed by the mint mark if applicable. This design has remained largely unchanged for decades, symbolizing consistency and respect for the nation's 16th president. On the reverse side, the Lincoln Memorial design by Frank Gasparro, which first appeared in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, is featured. This design replaced the original wheat ears reverse and has remained on the penny through 2008. The Lincoln Memorial reverse is notable for including a tiny representation of the statue of Lincoln visible between the columns of the memorial, an impressive detail considering the small size of the coin. The inscriptions, United States of America. 1 cent and a pluribus unum appear around the design. The 1995 Lincoln cent was produced at 3 United States Mint facilities, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia Mint coins bear no mint mark, while those from Denver carry a small D below the date, and the San Francisco coins feature an S mint mark used only for proof coins intended for collectors. In 1995, the Philadelphia Mint struck more than 6.4 billion cents. While Denver produced more than 7.1 billion, the San Francisco Mint created about 2 million proof coins, which were sold in special collector sets. These massive mintages reflect how heavily the penny was relied upon in everyday commerce during the mid-1990s. However, the 1995 Lincoln cent is perhaps best known for a remarkable minting error that gained national attention among collectors, the 1995 doubled die obverse variety. This famous error occurred when the hub used to strike. The dies was slightly misaligned during production, creating a strong doubling effect on the inscriptions, especially "Liberty and in God we trust." The doubling is bold and easily visible to the naked eye, making it one of the most popular double-die varieties of the modern era, unlike many earlier double-die cents which are rare and valuable. The 1995 double-die cent was discovered early in production, allowing many examples to enter circulation. Estimates suggest that tens of thousands of these era coins were released primarily from the Philadelphia Mint. Collectors quickly began searching rolls of 1995 cents, hoping to find this double-die variety. The era's popularity sparked renewed interest in coin collecting in the mid-1990s, with major media outlets covering the discovery. The 1995 double-die cent became one of the most famous modern era coins, joining the ranks of earlier varieties, like the 1955 double-die cent and the 1972 double-die cent. While it is not as rare as those earlier issues, it remains highly collectible and valuable, especially in high grades. Beyond the famous era, the regular 1995 cents also demonstrate the minting standards of their time. By the mid-1990s, the composition of the Lincoln cent had long since changed from the original 95% copper alloy to a copper-plated zinc core, a change made in 1982 to reduce production costs. The 1995 cents are therefore made of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper, giving them a lighter weight of 2.5 grams, compared to the 3.11 grams of pre-1982 copper cents. This composition change occasionally led to quality issues, such as surface bubbles or plating imperfections, which collectors often note when grading or inspecting coins from this period. In proof form, the 1995's Lincoln cents display sharp details, mirror-like fields, and frosted devices typical of modern proof coins. The San Francisco Mint's proofs are prized by collectors for their beauty and craftsmanship, while the regular strike coins were mass-produced for circulation. The proofs were carefully struck multiple times on polished planchets, creating a stunning contrast between the raised and flat surfaces. The year 1995 also marks an interesting period in the broader context of the Lincoln cent's history. The United States Mint was preparing for major changes that would come later in the 2000s, including the transition from the Lincoln Memorial Reverse to the 4 different designs of 2009, celebrating the bicentennial of Lincoln's birth, and the later Shield Reverse introduced in 2010. The 1995 cent thus stands as one of the last full decades of the Lincoln Memorial era, representing a continuity of tradition before the design evolution that followed. For coin collectors and historians, the 1995 Lincoln cent offers much to appreciate. It embodies both the legacy of Abraham Lincoln and the technological advances of modern minting. Its famous doubled die variety connects it to the long tradition of minting anomalies that fascinate collectors, and its massive production numbers show how integral the penny remained to American life during the 1990s. While debates over the usefulness of the cent have continued, the 1995 issue remains a beloved and collectible piece of American numismatic history. Whether found in a pocket change collection or preserved in a proof set, the 1995 Lincoln cent tells a story of craftsmanship, tradition, and discovery. Its presence in millions of collections today ensures that the humble penny and the enduring image of Abraham Lincoln will continue to inspire curiosity and respect among future generations. The story of the 1995 Lincoln cent goes far deeper than just its design and production numbers. It represents a pivotal point in American numismatic history, where tradition met modern minting technology and public fascination with coins reached new heights. The Lincoln cent had already been in production for over 85 years by 1995, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in United States history. This remarkable continuity connects generations of Americans through a single image of Abraham Lincoln and the ideals he represents. To truly understand the 1995 Lincoln cent, we must look at the historical context that led to its creation and the minting practices of that time. The 1990s were a decade of modernization for the United States Mint. The Mint was refining its quality control systems, adopting computerized die-making technology, and improving the consistency of strikes. Yet despite all these advances, errors like the famous 1995 double die obverse still occurred, which shows how even small imperfections in the die hubbing process could create varieties that became legendary among collectors. During this era, the Mint was also dealing with the realities of inflation and the declining purchasing power of the penny. The cost to produce a 1-cent coin was approaching its face value, due to the rising price of zinc and copper. By 1995, the cent's role in commerce was increasingly questioned, yet the coin continued to be produced in massive numbers because of its cultural and psychological importance. Americans were attached to the penny. It symbolized thrift, honesty, and a tangible connection to the nation's history. In terms of design, the obverse portrait by Victor David Brenner continued to honor Abraham Lincoln's legacy as the president who preserved the Union and ended slavery. Brenner's initials VDB had originally appeared prominently on the reverse of the 1909 cent, but public criticism led to their removal and later reappearance in a smaller form below Lincoln's shoulder in 1918. By 1995, that small VDB had become a permanent and respected detail of the design, a mark of the artist's enduring influence. The reverse of the coin, featuring Frank Gasparo's Lincoln Memorial, had also become an American icon in its own right. When Gasparo designed the memorial reverse in 1959, he wanted to create a sense of national unity and strength. The inclusion of the tiny seated figure of Lincoln inside the memorial was a subtle but profound detail. It connected the image on the obverse with the structure built to honor him in Washington, D.C. By 1995, this design had been in use for 36 years, seen by every generation since the mid-20th century. The history of the United States Bicentennial Quarter, minted between 1975 and 1976, is one of the most fascinating chapters in American coinage history, as it celebrates 200 years of American independence. This coin holds a special place in both numismatic and cultural history. It symbolizes patriotism, artistic creativity, and a reflection of American heritage. The Bicentennial Quarter was part of a larger celebration that included special designs for the quarter half dollar and dollar coins, all featuring unique reverse designs to honor the nation's 200th anniversary of independence from Great Britain. The idea of a bicentennial coin was first discussed in Congress during the early 1970s when the United States was preparing for a massive celebration, marking 200 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence in 1776. Congress authorized the minting of commemorative coins in 1973, with a design that would represent the nation's history and pride rather than issuing coins dated 1975 and 1976 separately. The United States Mint decided to produce all bicentennial coins with the dual date, 1776-1976. This represented the unity of the celebration, spanning 2 years as the nation moved toward the historic bicentennial milestone. These coins were struck in 1975 and 1976, but none carry the date. 1975, the obverse of the Bicentennial Quarter still featured the classic bust of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan in 1932. However, for the Bicentennial Edition, the reverse design was changed to something entirely new that would capture the spirit of the American Revolution. To achieve this, the United States Mint held a national design competition in 1973, inviting artists from across the country to submit their concepts for the special bicentennial coinage. The winning design for the quarter was created by Jack L. Ayer, who was a colonial history enthusiast. His reverse design features a colonial drummer representing the citizen soldiers of the American Revolution. Beside the drummer is a victory torch surrounded by 13 stars, symbolizing the original 13 colonies. This design perfectly reflected the patriotic fervor and historical pride of the bicentennial celebration. When the Bicentennial Quarters were released in 1975, they immediately captured public attention. Millions of Americans began collecting them from circulation. These coins were available in both circulation strike and special proof versions. They were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The San Francisco Mint produced both clad and 40% silver-proof sets. The silver versions were especially popular among collectors and sold in special bicentennial coin sets alongside the half-dollar and dollar coins. The bicentennial coinage program was not only a tribute to history, but also a massive national event. The United States Mint produced billions of bicentennial quarters to meet the extraordinary demand as Americans held on to them as keepsakes rather than spending them because of their symbolic design and historical significance. Bicentennial quarters can still be found in circulation today, nearly half a century later. Though many have been saved by collectors, the coin's dual date, 1776-1976, remains one of its most distinctive features as it connects the Revolutionary era with modern America. Another interesting aspect of the Bicentennial Quarter is its connection to the larger artistic movement of the 1970s. During that period, there was a renewed national interest in early American history and culture reflected in everything from art and music to film and literature. The bicentennial celebration culminated in grand national events such as parades, fireworks, and television specials, and the bicentennial coins served as an everyday reminder of the nation's revolutionary spirit. For many Americans, holding one of these coins felt like holding a small piece of history. The quarter's design, featuring the colonial drummer, became an instantly recognizable patriotic symbol that reminded citizens of America's origins and enduring freedom. Though the bicentennial quarter is common in circulation, it has become a nostalgic item for millions who remember the excitement of the bicentennial years. Certain varieties of the coin have become valuable to collectors depending on condition and mint mark. For example, quarters struck in 40% silver-proof or uncirculated versions from the San Francisco Mint often command higher prices in the collector's market. Additionally, some coins have minting errors such as double strikes or off-center designs, which can make them especially valuable in numismatic circles beyond its monetary worth. The Bicentennial Quarter represents a celebration of American identity and unity. It was minted during a time of reflection as the country looked back on 2 centuries of struggle growth and achievement. The coin's design serves as a timeless reminder of the nation's founding ideals, liberty, courage, and the pursuit of independence. The Bicentennial Quarter also played a role in sparking public interest in coin collecting. Many people who were not traditional collectors began saving coins during the bicentennial years, leading to one of the largest booms in hobby history. The excitement over these coins led the mint to produce related items such as commemorative sets, medals, and souvenir coin holders, which became popular gifts and collectibles throughout the 1970s. The bicentennial coin program was so successful that it inspired future commemorative coin programs in the United States, including the State Quarters series launched in 1999. The lessons learned from the Bicentennial Project showed the Mint how special coin designs could capture public imagination and promote national pride each time someone held a bicentennial quarter. They were reminded not only of George Washington and the Revolution, but also of the resilience and unity that defined the American experience as a result. These coins continue to be cherished across generations. The Bicentennial Quarter tells a story that stretches from the battlefields of 1776 to the coin collections of modern America. Its enduring design and historical importance make it a living artifact of the United States bicentennial celebration. Even today, collectors, historians, and everyday Americans alike value this coin, not only for its artistry, but also for the meaning it carries. It is a tribute to the men and women who fought for independence, and to the vision of freedom that has guided the nation for over 2 centuries. As time moves forward, the Bicentennial Quarter will remain a reminder of how far the United States has come since 1776, and how symbols like a simple coin can connect an entire nation to its roots. The story of the United States Bicentennial Quarter, minted between 1975 and 1976, goes far beyond its design and mintage. It is deeply connected to one of the most important cultural movements in modern American history. The bicentennial celebration of 1976 was not just a commemoration of 200 years since independence, it was a nationwide event that sought to bring Americans together during a time of reflection, renewal, and patriotism. This small piece of metal, minted between 1975 and 1976, continues to echo the heartbeat of American history, representing not just the past but also the promise of the future. And that is why the United States Bicentennial Quarter remains one of the most beloved and historically significant coins ever produced by the Mint.